Hello, happy Monday. Hopefully, your summer is off to a fantastic start and it's going to fly by. It's June 6th today. Holy moly.
I know. Summer makes me so sad because I love summer, but I feel like it goes way too fast. There's
Oh,
always
yeah.
so much going on during the summertime, and I'm just ready for it to be warm consistently because we just finished Memorial Day weekend, which was not warm and was not enjoyable.
It
And
was also very this year. I feel like
it
I don't know
was.
why it's so early, but
It's always
I
the
guess
last
it's
weekend of
much.
May. And so,
Yeah,
because May 31st is a Friday, they had
right.
early. Last year it was warm though. I remember being in the pool last year on Memorial Day weekend. So, anyways, I also last night we made potatoes in the air fryer and I ate one out of the air fryer and it burned my throat. It like got stuck in my throat going because I like chewed it and I was like, oh, this is way too hot. I should have spit it out, but I didn't. So my throat feels like it's sore right now, but it isn't. I can tell there's just like, it's like blistered
Oh, no.
and I need a peptide for it.
I was ordering a nebulizer, a mesh nebulizer, so you could have that on hand. And then because I'm doing some nebulizing peptides for a couple of clients, and I was like, I might as well get one of these myself. I'm sure there'll be a situation that I would want to nebulize it. So it's 20% off. It was $36 plus the 20% off. So why not? If it's on sale, why not?
I'm a sucker for a sale, man. I am a sucker for a sale. I have a major shopping problem lately, and it's
But if there's shipping involved, count me out. Because I don't even care if on sale, if then they try to give you shipping. You're like, yeah, okay,
it's
maybe later.
like base peptides has free shipping, but their taxes are insane. Their taxes end up being like $30. It's
We're
crazy.
paying for everything somehow. That's the reality. There's no free lunch. There's no
That's
free anything in life. So
nope.
we're paying for everything somehow. But okay, so today we are speaking of peptides. We are going to be talking about nootropics, and these are a little bit different than peptides. So if you guys listen back to our Peptide 101 podcast, we talk all about what peptides are in terms of being short chain amino acids, and things that are very specifically designed to play and do specific jobs in the body. And so today we're going to be talking about nootropics, which is just a fancy word for anything that helps your brain work better and your neurological health. And so we're going to talk a little bit about two Russian peptides, Selenk and Cmax, and sometimes they are paired together. So if you are shopping online and you're seeing these nasal sprays, you might see them individually and then you might see them also paired together. And it's going to be a fun one today. So some other examples of nootropics that I know Becca and I do not ever fail to have in our day is caffeine. So, yep, your morning cup of coffee is a nootropic. You can also think about other teas, such as green tea. This has L-theanine in it, creatine, not just for your muscles, but it also has brain energy support in there. Creatine, something though, I always tell women, like, hey, just be cautious. If you're bringing this in, start low and slow, because I've seen a lot of people become very watery from creatine. So that's not personally something I take every day. I take it on my workout days only, and I'm only doing 3 grams of it right now. Lion's mane mushroom. This is one that supports nerve growth. And then we have Adderall, which is a prescription nootropic, though that comes with a lot of risk and side effects and not things that we would want to support unless we absolutely had to. So when it comes to your cognitive performance, that's what we're going to think about today is these nootropics. And then when it comes to peptides, when we're looking at fat loss, gut health, muscle growth, skin repair, injury recovery, those types of things, those are going to be either pills, capsules. I mean, there's other ways that you can get peptides, but today is all about nootropics,
Is it nootropics or nootropics?
probably nootropics.
Here's the hard thing with this is like I feel like people shouldn't get harped up on what the pronunciation is of the word. I think it's probably either, in my opinion. But I've always thought it was nootropics. Anyways, speaking of creatine too, we actually were talking with we were listening to one of our mentors on a podcast, and he was talking about how he was lacking sleep, and he knows poor sleep and lack of sleep can lead to brain inflammation. And he's like, so I took 50 grams of creatine because not something that we would recommend, but like how reversal it can be of inflammation in the neurological system. So like these are super powerful, and when you know how to use them right, they can be really, really helpful. I've actually been taking the company Create. They do creatine gummies. They're 1.5 milligrams per gummy, which I love because then I can like pop 3 or 4 of them during my workout, and it's delicious, and it's like a little sour apple gummy. Um, and it gives me a little pep during my workout, but then also I usually try to take creatine intra workout to just help obviously with muscle recovery, muscle performance, things like that. And yeah, I'm a big fan. And nootropics can be peptides. Like they can be in the same family. They just are specific. The main bottom line here is that nootropics are specific to cognitive function, whether it's memory, whether it's cognitive healing, neural inflammation, whether it's focus, anxiety, depression, whatever it might be. And we like nootropics because they're a better option with less side effects, and they're less addictive than an Adderall, a Vyvanse, something in that nature, and that ADHD family. Because those unfortunately can upregulate immunological function and cause like chronic inflammation. They're also very addictive. Like anyone that's been on Adderall knows probably how addictive Adderall is. You feel like you're on top of the world, but then you can't not be on it, and the side effects of it are unfortunately just not great. So since nootropics technically can be peptides also, let's just, specify peptides are basically short chains of amino acids. Okay. So think of them as like mini proteins, and they do something very specific in the body. And they're like little messengers, they're signal callers. Okay. And so all of them do different things. And some peptides are nootropics, but not all peptides work in the brain. So, like Liz was rattling off earlier, fat loss peptides, gut healing peptides, muscle growth and repair peptides, skin repair peptides, right? So, a peptide is a form. It's helping to form a protein. A nootropic is a function. It's helping with a function. So let's dive into the 2 nootropics that we want to talk about today, which is the C-Max and the Selenk. I say that they're kind of for the focus and the anxiety. Those are that's how I explain it. Like if you struggle to focus on things, C-Max is where it's at. And so the backstory on this is it was developed in the USSR. So it was in Russia in the 80s and 90s during a time when scientists were kind of obsessed with performance enhancement. So not just physical, but mental. And space missions, Olympic athletes, chess grandmasters, like all of these different people. And so the goal was to create a substance that boosts cognitive performance, protects the brain from stress and damage. So these things like they clear oxidative stress from the brain too. They're not just performance enhancing, they're recovering for the brain, which is really cool. They have no major side effects, and they can be used long-term safely. Like, I don't know. Why are these not? They are shunned. They are FDA not approved. They are banned substances because they work and they aren't bad for you. That's why our drug world bans them, because they're like, hey, this ain't it. This ain't making us money. These are $40 a bottle. I need people, addicted to my $300 a bottle. I'm making up numbers here. I don't know how expensive Adderall is, but like, I want people addicted to my thousands of dollars medications. Those are what make me money. And they make people worse, so they need other medications. That's the world we live
It is. It's pretty eye-opening when you look at the cost of pharmaceuticals, or honestly, you just look at the cost of anything in healthcare. It's like, hey, you want some Tylenol in the hospital post C-section, $168 or something insane. I was telling Becca this weekend, I just got another bill for like $1,100 from hospital stuff, and then also having ultrasounds since I was bleeding for so long. And I'm like, I have PPO insurance that I pay a lot of money for. I agree with you. You said this in another episode. HMOs are awesome because you get multiple benefits, or HSAs, excuse me, multiple benefits there. And I wish that that was an option for us. Maybe with open enrollment, we'll go that route. Anyways, so when we're looking at CMAX here, so this is the first one that Becca was talking about. The really cool thing about this is that this is a modified version of a fragment of ACTH, a hormone involved in the stress response, but without the cortisol spiking effects. So it supports your brain without frying your adrenals. So it's a synthetic peptide. So it means that it's made in a lab using short chains of amino acids, again, building blocks of proteins in the body. But unlike other peptides that build muscle or heal your gut, this one is built only for the brain. So it's your mental sharpener. It boosts the focus, memory, learning, mental clarity. People use it when they feel like they need to think quickly, stay on task, or bounce back from brain fog, brain recovery as well. So after feeling burnt out, or even if you've had a traumatic brain injury, this could be another one. And generally, when we're thinking about, the route of these things, people sometimes don't like peptides because most of them are injected. Sometimes there are oral capsules, but that also has to pass through the gut, right? But this one goes straight usually into the nose. You can do injections of these things, but you're using it from you know, the mental clarity and focus and like mental enhancement aspect, you generally going to do it like a nasal spray. So it boosts this brain derived nootropic factor. This is like miracle grow for your brain cells. So again, if you are sitting down and you're studying and you really need to focus and you need to learn this thing at hand and remember it, then this is something you want to take maybe like 15, 30 minutes prior to doing that. It also increases dopamine and serotonin activity. So you're not just focused, but you also feel good. You have good energy while you're doing the work. And then it improves blood flow to the brain as well. So you can have faster processing and clearer thoughts. And it does all of that without having the crash, because as I just mentioned, there's no impact on your cortisol. So it's not going to negatively impact your adrenals. For example, energy drinks, Adderall, caffeine, all of those, they do impact your cortisol. So there is some level of what goes up must come down here, right? And you might feel crash. So when you take it, what you're going to feel is maybe like a clean buzz of mental clarity without jitters or that crash, laser sharp focus, a calm drive or motivation, better short term memory recall, and you just feel mentally on. So this is something that we actually just ordered a combination spray this past weekend with the Memorial Day sale. But this is something that I would take if, like Alex said before, you were going into a podcast or something that's really important, a presentation, right? And you just really needed to be on point, but maybe you didn't sleep as well, you had an early flight, whatever. So who could it be for? Moms with brain fog who need to function like a CEO because you're still the CEO of your household, entrepreneurs burning the candle at both ends, or you just have a lot on your plate, athletes or creatives who again just need to like get into the zone, and then anybody who's having a time or season of high stress, feeling really burnt out, or just that cognitive fatigue. Maybe you've been working on a big project, you just came out of tax season, whatever that looks like. I think that would all be good cases for CMAX.
Yep.
Let's talk about Zelenk.
Yes. So CMAX, again, that it's kind of escalating, right? Selenk, the calming. So this is CMAX is like that pusher, pushes you hard. Selenk is the therapist. Okay. Calming anxiety, boosting mood, helping you stay clear headed under stress. It's often called the anxiolytic peptide, big word, which simply means it helps take the edge off. Okay. So it was again developed in Russia. Russians were on point with the development of these around the same time as CMAX, a non addictive anti anxiety treatment. Okay. They wanted something that calmed the nervous system, boosted brain power, worked without causing drowsiness or addiction. Okay. Because benzos, a lot of people know what benzo medications for anti anxiety for sleep, they cause drowsiness. They cause, basically medicated induced sleep. Okay. You're knocked out, you're not sleeping. So they started with basically a natural immune molecule called tufstin found in your body and modified it to work in the brain. Boom, Selenk is born. Okay, so it increases GABA activity. That's your brain's calm down chemical, regulates serotonin and dopamine. So your mood improves, you feel more emotionally stable. It balances the immune system. So it has anti inflammatory effects. Okay, and it does all this because it crosses the blood brain barrier. It works directly in the brain without needing a prescription pill. And like Liz was saying, that's why a lot of these are nasal sprays, because nasal sprays show that they get about 80% into the brain, about 20% systemic. Okay, so because these are focusing on the brain, we want them to be more entering into that nasal passageway versus like the oral form or injectable form. So most people describe Selenk as I'm calm but not sedated. I feel focused and emotionally steady. Stress response is turned down. No more racing thoughts. No more what if spirals. It's not like taking Xanax. No fog, no crash, no addicting loop. And again, works pretty quick. Okay. So if you want a focus boost, CMAX. If you want to reduce anxiety, Selenk. You want to uplift mood, Selenk. CMAX also does it, but not as heavily, right? Increases that brain BDNF, brain derived neurotropic factor, right? That is more
Mm.
Cmax, enhances memory, both of them do, works fast, both of them do, and you can use them both daily. Okay, so they are used when used properly, not overdosed, right? Nothing is safe in overdosing. When they're used properly, they are safe to take. They are not FDA approved, so you're going to get them from research peptide suppliers. We like Cosmic Nootropic is a big one that we use. Um, Quality varies a lot. Okay, so that is why we recommend from sites that you can trust. Um, at the end of the day, if you're dealing with anxiety, if you're dealing with brain fog, you can take both. I would recommend typically taking more of like Selenk when you need to calm down and Cmax when you need to focus, right? You might not take them both on the same day, but you can. We have clients that do that often as well. So yeah, they're great. Nootropics can be really really helpful. Everyone's a little bit different. Obviously, you still don't want to ignore the foundations. They work a lot better when you cover the basics, right? When you have the gut health under control, when you have the inflammation down, when you're sleeping, when you're eating well, they're going to work a lot better. But they are great resources. They are great tools. They are affordable. And yeah, they are examples of nootropics.
Yes, I know you gave the Cosmic Nootropics. I personally order from Limitless Biotech. I do trust them. We do have a code with them, FitMom, that you can use as a discount, and they have all of them in terms of the sprays. Some people, again, will do them more like injectable, but we're talking here specifically about sprays. So either one of those places, and I just share that with you because sometimes one website or the other is sold out of it. And I do like on the Limitless Biotech that you can actually choose your purity. So I always get the 99% plus purity. And they also have certificate of analysis on there as well. Of course, if you are working with a medical provider in terms of a compounding pharmacy, they might also offer something like this. So you could always ask, one of them as well. But we just thought that we would bring this to you because I think so many people could keep these on hand. I know for me, at certain times, I feel more anxious, and I feel because of that anxiety or that heart racing. It's not that I'm an anxious person, it's just in certain moments. If I have a really, really busy day ahead, after drop off in the morning, that's generally when I'm like, okay, I've got to get my nervous system like back in line and regulated because I have a huge long day of calls ahead. And so this is where I purchased the combination because I thought that's going to be great for those days that I need to feel a little bit more calm, but I also need to stay focused. So there's benefits on, all sides here, depending upon what you want to specifically use it for. But again, if you like this episode, share it out. Let us know. If you do, tag us on social media, share it with a friend. And if you give one of these a try and it makes a difference in your life, we'd also love to know that too. So last thing I want to just say here is don't forget we have the FitMom event in Arlington Heights, Illinois, September 5th and 6th. It's going to be an amazing event. We're flying all kinds of different speakers in, and you don't want to miss it. So link is in the show notes to learn all about it. All the details are there, and we hope to see you in person in September.